Good evening and welcome to the May 16th, 2022 Common Council of the City of Connersville. Before we rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, Heather Caldwell is going to come. She has her 4-H Leaders Group here and she's going to explain who they are and what they're doing here today.
Thank you, Mayor, City Council members. Thank you for having us. My name is Heather Caldwell. I'm the 4-H and A&R educator for Fayette County Extension. We are located in the basement of the courthouse. A lot of people don't know where we're located, so that's where we're at. I brought with me a group of junior leaders. We have about 15 kids in our junior leader program. It's for 7th through 12th grade students in 4-H. Junior leaders is an opportunity for these kids to get extra leadership skills or be exposed to different leadership opportunities within our community. So that's why we're here. Many of them didn't know where City Council was or City Hall even. So I said, we're going. Let's go. Let's get it together. So thanks, Mayor, for meeting with our group beforehand. We appreciate your time. All right, so we're getting everybody stand up. We're going to leave the
So rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And now they're going to do the 4-H Pledge.
I pledge my head to greater thinking, my heart to greater loyalty, my hands to larger service, my health to better living, for my club, my community, my country, and my world.
Thank you very much. We'll remain standing for the invocation.
Let us pray. God, we thank you once again for this beautiful day that you've given to us. We thank you for this opportunity to gather with the council and the mayor and to go over the agenda before us. And so we put the agenda in your hands. God, I thank you and ask a blessing upon all the council members and the mayor and their families, and also all these young people behind me and the leaders that they have with them and the leadership that they will become in this community. So bless them and their families as well. And this we pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, I'd like to welcome everyone, and I apologize if you have a hard time hearing me. My allergies are bad, and I've got lozenges, so I don't like to have things in my mouth and talk, but I don't have a choice today, so I apologize in advance if I start coughing. I'd like to welcome you to the meeting. Please make sure you turn your cell phone ringers off. We will begin with roll call.
Councilman Robb?
Here.
Councilman Gray?
Here.
Councilman Collins?
Here.
Councilman Warner?
Here.
Councilwoman Barrett?
Present.
Councilman Williams Jr.?
Present.
Councilwoman Phillips, sorry.
Okay, you have the minutes of the May 2nd, 2022 regular meeting. Are there any additions or corrections to those? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you very much. Item A, under new business, we have approval of resolution 2022-38 and 2022-39 transfer ice and field. Rosemary?
We can take A and B together.
Okay.
Resolution 2022-38 is a resolution to transfer $24,297.23 from general fund to the first aid non-reverting. Resolution 2022-39 is a resolution to transfer $280.80 from fire overtime into first aid overtime. Resolution 2022-40 is a resolution to reimburse $540.40 into police other contractual services. Resolution 2022-41 is a resolution to reimburse $150 into DOT garage and motor supplies.
Questions? Not entertain a motion to approve resolution 2022-38, 39, 40, and 41.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item C, approval of pending ordinance 3786, set up fund 4656, trash collection non-reverting fund on first reading. Rosemary?
And pending ordinance 3786 is a resolution to put the monies in from the 5% for the repair and maintenance of the equipment, starting once the trash rates go up.
Questions?
Are you talking about the repair for the trash equipment?
Yes.
I move we pass ordinance number 4656 on first reading.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Have a motion to suspend the rules.
Motion.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. And do I have a motion for third and final reading?
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Let's move on down to item D, Adam Stone with Stone Municipal. Can you hear us, Adam? He is zooming in.
Yes, Mayor, I can hear you. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Great. Well, good evening. Good to see everyone. I understand that each of you have a hard copy of a tentative 2023 city budget development calendar. We're providing this tonight as an update and a kickoff for the 2023 development. There's many dates on there, but as far as key milestones, what I would point out for your calendar is kickoff happening in May, the goals and priority session by June 21st, department's request complete by July 31st, the first draft mayor's proposed budget by September 19th, and then tentative public hearing and budget adoption on October 3rd and October 23rd respectively. Certainly this will change periodically as we go through, but in broad strokes, this is the approval timeline. It's complied with the Department of Local Government Finance adoption calendar, and it has been reviewed and approved by the mayor's office as well as the clerk treasurer's team. We'll continue to provide updates, and if you have any questions or input relative to goals and priorities for the 2023 budget year, I would ask that you work with the mayor's office to get those items documented. If you have any questions on the budget calendar, I'll happily take those now. Otherwise, I can provide a quick update on the current 2022 budget for general fund as well.
Go ahead.
Very good. So year to date, these numbers are unaudited, unclosed through April. This is just looking at the main operating fund known as the general fund. Year to date, general fund has received $1.7 million in revenue. The top three sources are local income tax, EMS fees, and trash fees. When you look at an annual basis, real estate property taxes are the largest general fund source. Those have not been received yet, with the spring settlement expected to be received in June. Year-to-date expenditures and encumbrances through April, just over $4 million. General fund cash position at the end of April was just shy of $2.2 million. When we look at the budget utilization relative to the point in time in the year, the concept we call PAR, P-A-R, for any of the golfers in the room, is essentially a proration of the budget utilization through the year. So through April, 4 fiscal months, so essentially 33% of the year complete. When we compare that to the general fund appropriation reports that the city provided, you're using just at that level, 33.7. So right in trend with where you want to be from a budget monitoring perspective. And you have in the general fund just shy of 7.9 million of the budget that's approved and available. Lastly, the circuit breaker report just came out last week. The 2022 actual circuit breaker is estimated now at $4.27 million, or 37% of the city's cumulative tax levy. I hope those updates provide you some context as far as how the general fund is looking year to date. We'll continue to provide more in-depth information and visuals as we proceed into the development. Otherwise, I'm happy to take any questions on the calendar or year-to-date performance. Otherwise, I will wish you all a good night.
Any questions for Adam while you have him? Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Adam.
Thank you, Adam.
Thank you, Adam.
Thanks.
Okay, move on down to department reports. Utility Street Director Brad Colter, he's on the phone. On Zoom, I should say.
Hello, can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna give you my utilities report first. Some of the things we got going on. You can tell by looking at the report, we've been doing some work on the old water plant. That's been a project in process for about a year now. We've also been doing quite a bit of work at the wood tank. That's going to be continuing on, getting ready to clean the tank and working on putting some new pumps in there over the next 6 months or so. Also, I wanted to tell you about, I've been talking to you about the water project that we're working on. I had a meeting with IFA last week, the Indiana Finance Authority, and it looks like we're on schedule to be able to close that SRF loan and make that project happen early next year. I'll be talking to the Board of Works about the engineering costs and such as we start to move forward on that. One good thing about that is it looks like that we should be in pretty good shape for some grant money from IFA. We designed this project to make sure that we didn't get into the areas that sort of did not allow us to get grant funds last time because the income levels were too high. So one other good thing, this project will also be done in some areas that will replace some lead service lines, which are very important to the Indiana Finance Authority and SRF right now. So we think we'll have a pretty good shot at getting some funding, some grant monies towards that project. The good news on the Headworks project, I got a copy of the permit design release today. So that project is just about free to start moving forward. You're going to start seeing some major earth moving going on down there in the next month or so. And I want to remind you, there's going to be a city auction on May the 28th. It's in the infield at the park. Everybody's been getting their materials that they're going to put in the auction, all the departments getting them ready. And I'll start bagging that stuff up to the park and driving it to the park over the next few weeks. In the street department report, we had the guys out crack sealing. We spent a lot of time last week helping with the event and the festival, trying to make everything look nice in the downtown area. I think they did a pretty good job making it look good, and we were down there over the weekend moving barricades and helping pick up trash and some other things. So the sweeper was out in the area, and if you've noticed, the sweepers have been out all over town, sweeping quite a bit here lately, so things are starting to look pretty good. Just got the transfer station report. It looked like we collected about $23,000 in fees down at the transfer station. That's a pretty good month. Not sure if it's the best month we've ever had, but it's up there in the best month. And then we sent about 926 tons of trash to the landfill and about 38 tons of recycling. So unless you have any questions, that's my report for the day.
I want to thank the street department for all the work they've done during the festival. I've seen that they did a lot of work on that, so I appreciate it.
Thank you, I'll tell them.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Chief Bolos.
Good evening, everyone. You have a copy of my monthly. Our overtime has gone down. It's the lowest we've had in the last 3 months. I remember the year. Is there any questions on those numbers? Okay.
The only thing I have is the repair equipment. I noticed that there's nothing in there about the vehicles. We don't report vehicle repair.
That is paid out of the DOT budget.
Let's see. The only other thing I have on the report is due to the fact that gas fluctuates so much, could we get gallons on that?
Do we have gallons
Yeah, could we get gallons?
of how many gallons we're using?
Yes.
Yes, so we've used 1,659 gallons.
Oh, you already got that on there?
I'll put it on there.
Oh, okay.
That's something we get. Mike puts it together, he keeps track of that, so he just gave that to me yesterday.
I realize that gas prices are going so high and fluctuate so much, it's hard to put a handle on how much.
And that would be, yeah, we would know how much we use, the way it's been fluctuating, so. And just goes month per month, and on call volume and whatnot, so.
I would appreciate that.
Okay, on our incident table sheet, any questions on any of that? Just give us the totals of all the different calls and whatnot that we go on per month. The total of that is 960 in April. 14 of those incidents involved drugs and 8 of them involved paraphernalia. We had 240 hours of training, and I am excited to say that we are finally online with our body cameras today. They're wearing them today, so it's going to be a learning curve. There's lots to know about those cameras and how to download and how to get them out of the system and how they're saved and the guys turning them on. So we had our training about 2 weeks ago, and in these last 2 weeks we finally got the last officer trained on their camera last week, so they are wearing them today and from here on out. So having to say that, when the public needs or requests a copy of the video, they'll have to come on. It's not like we can just hand them a video, download it right now and hand them a video. It's going to take some time, so they have to come down and fill out an access to public record request, and then it's going to take several hours for us to download it onto a flash drive or just to transfer up that much video and to find them and to redact certain things on the video, mainly like juvenile, we have to blur them out, and personal things in the background that might not want to be on video, stuff like that. So it's going to take quite some time. I mean, we'll see how that's going to work out. Any questions on the totals there?
And there will be a fee for that.
There's going to be a fee for that. It's yet to be determined. I mean, it's just going to be so much involved to download videos from Axon onto a flash drive.
A stiff fee? Stiff fee, 75, 150?
We're not sure. We got to look into that, but there has to be a fee to that. It can't just be handed out. So
Might also have to be graduated as to how much time was spent doing it, because some of them might be simpler than others. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, possibly. So
We still require building checks.
absolutely.
I just wondered about that. Due to the fact we have so many cameras and alarms, I just wondered if that's not a possible waste of police manpower.
Absolutely not. I believe that we owe it to the community and the citizens to go behind where there's not cameras in the third shift. I expect third shift to patrol differently, not necessarily on the streets because there is no traffic after a certain time period. So that's their job, going to where it's dark or where there might not be cameras. We're not a security company. However, we owe that to the community. We owe that to the citizens. Be in the alleys, be behind closed businesses. and just checking on things. It's not a waste of time because there's simply no traffic and the call volume does go down on third shift.
Oh,
So,
absolutely.
yeah, it wouldn't be a waste of officers' time.
Now, those cameras, are they gonna be controlled by the administrative, yourself and the assistant chief?
How do you mean controlled?
When they're requested videos?
Yeah, we have the ability to get in, but we don't house the videos.
Right, I understand that, but are you or the assistant chief gonna release that information?
Yes.
Okay.
But I would say that everyone is not entitled to those videos. Like you said that you guys would release the videos to everyone. I mean, the people that request the videos. Like, for example, like LA, New York and stuff like that. They have videos, stuff like that. They don't want to release for criminal, for investigation reasons, for whatever reason. You can't release that and stuff like that. And what you said earlier is that, we will release the video to the person,
In a timely manner.
Right.
If it's under investigation. And
Yeah,
that's when
yeah.
the investigation is complete. So
Well, some people may not realize
Right.
that, I'm just saying.
Good point.
we would inform them of that.
Yeah.
Situations arise. Any other questions?
I have a question for you if you can hang out after the meeting.
Okay. One last thing. I don't know if you guys got a letter of this. Officer Coons retired a couple months ago, and I brought Stephen McClure to Board of Works earlier today to hire him. So we unanimously voted to hire him. He's our newest officer. He starts the 29th of this month and is going to attend the police academy in September with the other two. So
Lucky enough to get all three of them in
like
September.
the day of,
Wow.
day I hired him, it opened up that day, and it was full by the next day. So, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Director Bolos.
All right. For the month of April, we had 9 hours, 33 minutes of weeding production, 12 hours, 8 minutes of original production. But the interesting stuff is actually off the report, so I'll cover that. We, of course, have a lot going on through the month of May. We do a lot of production with the school corporation. We just produced the choir concert, which will air Thursday, Friday, Saturday at 8 p.m. Softball game versus Cambridge City, which was a really good production. We've also started our summer productions of Science Isn't Scary Out and About, which is where we go around the community and interview people about science and how that interacts in our community. The one that will first be up, I believe, is Roots. We went all through Roots, and they explained how math is used to create the parks that they have. And so it's fascinating stuff. And we got to see everything from the engineering drawing to the actual production of the blowers, fans. So that was very interesting. We had a call just before May 6th. The president was going to be visiting in Hamilton, Ohio. And ABC Productions needed someone to help them run sound, and they called us. I wasn't available that day, but Justin was, so he went over and ran sound for ABC Productions. So if you go on and you see any video of the president in Hamilton, Ohio, that's Justin running the sound for that, and he did a great job. He also got to stand in for the president because apparently he's the same height as the president. So he was actually behind the presidential dais there that he was at and stood in for all of the other media that was there that day. I have some photographs if anybody's interested to see what that was like. He was extremely close, took that picture of the president.
Wow.
So he was right up there next to the stage running sound that was going out to the satellite truck. So I'm very proud of him. He did a fantastic job. I knew he could. And I just think it's fascinating that they called on us because we were nearby, they knew about us, and knew we could help. So
That's the biggest honor.
Mm-hmm.
Good job.
They know who we
Good job,
were and
John.
they called.
Yep. So that's exciting. In other news, previously we had won an award through the Central States Alliance for Community Media for sports production. That was a couple of years ago. And that's Central States, which is, of course, Indiana, Michigan, Ohio, Kentucky, just around this region. And the high schoolers, we've been working with them for sports production now for about 2 years. And they've been doing extremely well. And they entered their competition for Indiana IHSA school competition for production, and they entered in sports production. They didn't even place. And I knew better than that. I knew they were very, very good. I knew that we had produced a really decent program. So I decided to enter into the Alliance for Community Media National competition just to see if we would place anywhere. Well, we won.
Wow.
National. I was blown away. That's every access center across the country. That's thousands of access centers. And we won nationally. We'll be giving that award in Chicago coming up the end of June.
That's
So,
wonderful.
Big honor.
it was, and I'm especially happy that we learned before school got out, so the students that were part of that production, they got to learn that their production was top-notch, that they did an excellent job working with us, and that the school corporations in Indiana were wrong. So, anyway, I just want to thank them for that and congratulate them on that as well. So that was a big honor. Any questions? Yes.
Got one, did we get an address on that off at Park?
Not yet. I don't have that probably because Brad has been sick. But
Blame it on Brad.
I'm going to blame it on Brad. Brad, you still there? He's not there.
I'll tell him later.
But yeah, I'm still on that. It's on a note. As soon as I get that from him, we'll proceed on that. What he's asking about is that we add Office Park. There he is. We need that address for Office Park when you get the chance. But that way, when we get that address, which currently it doesn't have a mailing address, when we get that, we can add it to Google Maps as owned by the city of Connersville as a park. So right now, it doesn't belong to anybody. It's just a big empty green spot on Google Maps. So we want to show that the city is there, that it's represented. So that's what we're working on. Whenever he feels better. Okay, is that all?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Chief Hardin.
That's pretty exciting. Wow.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Everyone should have a copy of my report for April. We had a total of 268 calls for service, which is down a little bit from where we normally are for an April. We've had 1,207 so far for the year, and a total of 4,282 miles during the month for a year-to-date total of 15,894. I still do have, I have one medic off from a non-work related accident, and I have one vacant medic position been working on trying to fill. On April 30th, we partnered with Stat Flight Air Medical for a LZ and a flight awareness course. We used the airport, and we did they did a classroom portion, and we had very good attendance. We had over 20 people from all the agencies in Fayette County. It wasn't just EMS, it was all the fire departments were invited as well, and law enforcement. So we had over 20 people. We got to do the classroom portion. We were getting ready to walk out the door to the aircraft, and they got a flight. So we didn't actually get to do the hands-on portion, but the classroom portion is just about as important, if not more important. There's a lot of safety concerns when you're working with a helicopter, especially because a lot of our patients, we do what's called a hot load, which means they don't shut the rotors down. So we're loading while the rotors are still turning. And you approach from a certain side, you go out a certain side. Things you don't even think about is you can't have anything loose on you when you walk out there. A hat, it's going to become a projectile because of the downforce of the rotors. So with a lot of new EMS people, a lot of new fire people over the last year or two, it was a good course to have. Just we deal with them a lot, but when you do something a lot, you tend to get complacent, and we don't need any of that. So that was a very, very, very good course that we have under our belt now. Last month, Board of Works approved a kind of an emergency purchase to buy a replacement cot that was damaged. I did file an insurance claim with our insurance carrier. I didn't know if it would go anywhere or not, but they did agree to to basically total out the cot that was damaged, minus the $2,500 that we're gonna get to trade it in for our replacement. So I was glad about that. And then the last thing that I have isn't actually two things. First of all, on the diesel fuel and the gasoline, I don't know why, but I switched those two numbers. So it's actually 32 of diesel fuel and 263 of diesel fuel. What those numbers say, swap them. There we go. It's been a long day. I don't know why I transposed those two. The last thing is I did have 2 EMTs that were accepted to paramedic school. They were both accepted to the same program, the IU Health program, IU Health Lifeline program, actually, to be specific, as Tori Beiser and Nimue Rymiller. I was going to be tickled if we got one, and we got both of them in. So very, very pleased. So about August, September of next year, we should be looking for them to graduate. So that was a big plus for us. Does anybody have any questions?
You might share that grant information on that.
So I did had an opportunity, the intro, I believe it was intro into work at the high school last week, and I made some, got to talking to the people who run that program, which is Eastern Indiana Works. And they get state money for employee education. And it's up to $5,000 per employee per year. I had asked the Board of Works earlier for permission to apply for that because it's money we're gonna spend anyways. So, and apparently it's very competitive, it's first come, first serve, but they will pay up to $5,000 per employee per year for education costs, reimbursement. So we have to pay it first, but we're already gonna pay it, and they'll refund us. There's a few little stipulations, like you have to retain them for 6 months. Well, the program's a year long, so if they make it through the program, then we've got our 6 months. So they can run concurrently, it's not necessarily consecutively. I'm hoping that as soon as that opens up, as soon as I get notification on that, I'm gonna apply. I kept asking them, well, what's the catch? What's the loophole? And they're just like, no, really, it's this simple. You tell the employee what school they're going to, and that's pretty much it. So I'm hoping with 2 employees, we should be able to recoup about $10,000 back of our education expenses. So every little penny helps, and especially with the rising cost of tuition and expenses associated with training. So
Thank you for doing that.
All right. Does anybody have any questions? Thank you.
Thank you. Superintendent Good.
Hello. The main thing I want to talk about tonight is the pool. We are still in the process of having the new liner installed, and we will not be opening on the Saturday Memorial Day weekend as we had planned. I'm going to go through the timeline with you real quickly. The best case opening date I have of as today is probably going to be June 27th. The liner was delivered today, so it's sitting on the pool deck. Their installation crew is in New York working on another project. They're supposed to be in Connorsville on Monday, and that starts our 4-week timeline. That's their estimated timeline for installation. So that 4 weeks takes us out to about June 20th or so. Then it takes us 2 days to fill the pool. And then we also have to pass a health department water test. That test takes 48 hours from the day we drop it off. So we're probably looking around the 27th. It could be a few days before, it could be a few days after, but our pool manager extraordinaire, she's gonna make it happen.
Stressing me out all day.
I know. Well, we started updating staff internally, letting the pool workers know like what was going on, and I think a lot of misinformation has been spread. There's a lot of, we're getting calls at the park, why didn't you tell us you weren't opening the pool? Very angry people already. The pool will open, and it's going to be awesome. It's going to have brand new gutters, it's going to have a brand new liner. It's going to be really nice, but it's just going to open a little bit later than we anticipated. The gutters are done. We did have some new pipes installed on the filter in the back. And so just so you guys know what we have done, you know, in regard to the situation, we have rescheduled anyone who's booked a pool party for June. We have contacted them. If they wanted to reschedule, we have done that. If they wanted a refund, it will be issued in claims at Park Board on Monday. Swim lessons for June will continue. We're going to go out to the pool at the high school. So those will continue, just at a different location. Season pass holders probably will have the most questions. The plan with that is once we know our opening date, we're going to offer those folks a prorated refund. So any days you were not able to use your pass, you will be refunded accordingly. So you're not going to be out any money. We do not offer a full refund on pool passes. It says so right on the pass. It's non-refundable, non-transferable. If you bought the pass in March at a discount, your refund's going to be a little bit less than if you bought it at full price. So I'm going to present that at Park Board on Monday. Been talking with my board president. He's very okay with this plan, so don't anticipate any problems, but just want to make sure that the Park Board passes that plan, and then we're going to communicate all of this to the public via social media and the newspaper and that kind of thing. So we just wanted to make sure we had all the information gathered before we started disseminating information, but the cat's been out of the bag, I think, the last couple of weeks, so wanted to get ahead of those stories. Did anybody have any questions about the pool? We're just kind of at the mercy of Natari and their schedule, so.
And the weather.
Yeah, the weather held them up a little bit.
It's supply chain issues. I mean,
Yeah, and if we get more rain, the plan could change. But that is our plan right now. Let's see. One thing I did want to mention to you that's going to be coming up, a large project at the park, is we would like to add a storage, basically a fancy pole barn. I don't want it to look like a, generic pole barn, I guess, because it's going to sit right beside the Miller Building. One of the problems at the Miller Building is there is no storage. We house hundreds of tables, 350 chairs, indoor soccer walls, basketball goals. We are constantly hauling things to the basement of the Roberts Building, back to the Miller Building, stuffing things in the breezeways. It looks tacky. It's just not the best situation. It's hard on the staff having to move things back and forth. We also have that big stage that we used. It was downtown this weekend. So we just have a lot of things. So we're looking to add a storage unit next to the Miller Building. I want to get some images for you of what we would like to build. I've gotten 3 bids, but I want to be able to show you what we're talking about. Talk with the mayor and Rosemary about how we're going to pay for it, but did want to let you know that we are looking very, very seriously into getting that done this summer, as some of the construction companies slow down a little bit, hopefully. So that's coming up. And then just a couple of things also coming up at the park. Camp opens on May 31st, so if you have family members, kids that want to come to camp, we will be opening on the Tuesday after Memorial Day. It's never too late to register for camp. You can register all summer. You can bring your kid the last day of camp for one day if you want to. It's never too late. So, but you must be signed up to participate in the activities. We do have Boomer, the Pacers mascot, is coming on June 14th. So we have some really big plans for camp. I have some really great managers. And then we do have our next movie in the park coming up on June 3rd. It's going to be Trolls World Tour at Roberts Park. I think we're going to have a karaoke contest. If you've ever watched Trolls, it's all about singing. So it should be a good night. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you. Assistant Chief Stevens.
Good evening. Everybody should have a copy of the monthly report. Overtime for April, we had a total of $8,195.35. April was a free pay month, just so you're aware. $2,120.94 was FLSA. $5,719.04 was manpower shortage, and $329.16 was call-in for the apartment fire on top of the hill, 3rd Street Hill. And then shift run over is $26.21. Okay. And fuel usage, fuel usage for April was 385 gallons, 385.3 gallons. Total cost was $1,594.32. Fuel usage, Scott and I found a discrepancy on the bills that they were giving us. So the gallon usage looks like it's a lot less for this month, but we corrected January through April on that. It was showing we were using like 600 some gallons. The price stayed the same, but the way that they billed it was the price of the gas, 300 some gallons, the price of the gas, and then they said, or how many gallons we used for 315, say it was the price of the gas and or the fuel, and then excise state tax, we used 300 some gallons for that too. So they doubled the numbers of gallons when they should have just left it the same, if that makes sense. If you have any questions, we can kind of go over that with the statement, I guess. So yeah, it's updated now. Everything's good, and that's why it looks like it's tremendously lower, or half of the gallon usage than it was last few months. So okay. For the runs, we had 120 incidents in April, 19% were fire, 81% were EMS. I checked just the other day, we're 50 runs above what we were last year, and last year was one of probably our busiest year on record so far. So runs are up. Training for the month of April, 58.5 hours, instructed hours. Guys the weather's getting nice, and guys are getting outside and getting out to be able to do better training and more training. So, and we also had 15 inspections the month of April, and that is all that I've got. Any questions?
Good. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dennis. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Okay. Move on down to old business. Anyone have any old business?
I have again, asked that we give our code enforcer the proper equipment to do his job. Understand he's getting into some situations that's not very pleasant, because people aren't very happy with him, obviously. And I don't really want to see him get hurt, because he's doing a good job.
He has all the equipment that he needs.
I don't agree with that. I feel that he needs to be a reserve officer and have a reserve officer's equipment.
That's your opinion. Jeff and I discussed it, Chief and I discussed it, and all of other mayors, and that is not the case. So, but everyone's entitled to their opinion.
Departments in the cities I've checked with are either police officers or they're reserve officers. They have the same entitlement as a code enforcer on.
I've not ran that anywhere I've checked.
So,
And I meet with mayors all the time. So, but Jeff and I have discussed it at length, haven't we, Jeff?
We have, indeed.
And we are doing it the right way, so. But everyone's got their own opinion on it, and I'm fine with that. Is there any other old business?
I'd like to acknowledge the team that put on the celebration in the Ville Saturday. It was fantastic, above all expectations, and there were a lot of people from out of town there. I had a couple people, at least one person asked me, have you seen anybody that you know down here? I mean, it wasn't the same people, there were a lot of young people, families, there was something for everybody. And even the rain didn't dampen, it might have dampened the spirit somewhat in the evening, but there was still a good crowd. I just want to give a thank you and a job well done to the people that put that together.
I would like to echo that also. I've seen and heard a lot about it, and I think all the workers, including from the top to the bottom, have done a marvelous job at it.
Before I move on to miscellaneous business or any other old business. I'll move on to miscellaneous business, that's fine.
I don't even know where to put that sentence.
You're fine, I'm just giving you a hard time.
I know. It's all
I get to
right.
dish it out once in a while. I do have a couple things. In front of you, you have a pamphlet here called the City of Connersville Opportunity Zone Investment Prospectus. Excuse me. A little over a year ago, we received a grant from Okra to develop a marketing strategy for our rural opportunity zone. And a lot of people don't know what an opportunity zone is. That is a 2017 initiative that the Trump administration put in and Congress passed it to make investments into underserved communities where investments normally aren't going to be taking place. And they did that through the capital gains incentives, and there's a whole bunch of incentives. Capital gains are the biggest ones. And it's spurred a lot of investment in neighborhoods that normally would not see those investments because of that. So we have an opportunity zone. A lot of it is in the floodplain. We didn't really have much control over where the zone was located. I mean, there were some groups here that gave some input, but it ultimately was the governor's office who made the decision based on census tracts and different things. But we do have some opportunity zone areas that can be developed and some investments can be made. So we went ahead and applied for the grant, and actually one development is in the opportunity zone taking place now. We have some other leads since this has been done. But to me, this is not just a marketing strategy for our opportunity zone. This is a marketing strategy for Connersville because there's a lot of information here. It puts us on the map. It shows we're trying to attract and reach out to investors. And this is a great marketing tool. It is on our city website. So if you want to send someone to the website, they can get it off of there. I shared it today on Facebook, and John created a link for that, so you can go right to that. Purdue has this on their website because we work with Purdue through their Center for Regional Development to build this. So there's this is a lot of resources that goes throughout the country for developers to look at Connersville. So to me, this was a great investment. The grant paid for it. I don't remember the match off the top of my head. You remember, was there a match to this? It was a year ago, and I can't remember that. But a lot of work went into this. Diana helped on the group, and we met a lot. And this really, it's a good thing. It was a lot of work, but it's really going to provide some fruit for us as we go moving forward. So take some time, read that, and share that with people. And let's get the word out there as much as possible. The second thing we had was, we've already talked about the celebration in the Ville. I thought that was a huge success. Even despite the monsoon rainstorm we had in the middle. I was so excited to see the amount of people that was there. It was packed. We had stuff from all ages. I mean, I got to watch people paint scenes, and I absolutely love painting. My mom used to paint, and I used to love to watch her paint. So there were people painting. You had kids' corners. You had a car show. You had music. There was vendors. It was absolutely phenomenal. I did see several people from out of town. They were commenting on how nice it was. It's good to see Connersville doing something. And it was a great venue. The music was fantastic. The best part, well, I shouldn't say the best part, but when the rain hit, everyone was kind of waiting. The rain didn't quit, and everyone kind of gave up. And I get that. But we made the decision to hold out and to pursue. We could see it started to clear, so I thought, let's just try it. Amanda shot a Facebook Live video saying, hey, we're getting back on here. We're going to be powering it back up. And people started to come back out. So I thought that was a good thing. It means they were watching, they were paying attention. So it was a good evening. And I just want to thank Amanda and her team for everything they did. It was well organized from front to back. And I had more people commenting on that, how well organized it was. And that was just shows how good Amanda and her team does. And there's a lot more stuff planned in the future when we announced Market Street Plaza for that. We had the drawings out there, and everyone from that event kept talking about that, how excited they were to see that. So there's a lot planned for the plaza, and it's not just 2 events a year. It's going to be a well-structured space, and it's going to be for all ages. It'll be for adults, kids, everything. So we have a lot planned there, so I'm excited about the future of what we can do with that. And the whole goal behind that is to bring people to our downtown, so businesses have a see a need and opportunity to invest in our downtown. So it's the foot traffic. That's what we're trying to generate. So Celebration of the Ville is a huge success. We got a lot of work to do, start planning for next year's. That's something we want to do every year. Hopefully next year we'll be in a new facility over there. Although I thought the stage was fantastic, and thank goodness it had a roof on it, because if we would have had a roof, we would have been in a whole lot of trouble. So kudos to everyone who took part of that. There was a ton of volunteers. Thank you for everyone who volunteered to help. We can't do it without everyone. So, is there any other miscellaneous business? If not, I'll go to the public forum. Clint, anyone out there? Anybody want to have anything to say? Oh, no speeches. Wow.
We're glad you came.
Very glad.
Come back anytime.
Yes, thank you.
And they stayed alert, you know?
Yes, they did.
Very alert. That's what I was impressed by.
I haven't seen
I didn't see anyone, no.
Well, Heather does a good job. How's that?
Yeah.
Good job, Heather.
That's a win.
For the record. Don't put that on the record.
You're on record, because we're not adjourned yet, so.
I'm sorry for sitting
So, in
down
what?
after my student came, because he was with the Boy Scout group, and so, like, we talked about it in class and stuff, and he said, they say yeah a lot. I. Because I didn't understand anything going on, right?
Well, with that being said, I'll take a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Have a wonderful evening.
Now you can talk.
Now you're on.